Alita Battle Angel is a new action movie that is based off of a series of manga. So this story takes place many years in the future. Earth is basically in shit right now. It's basically one of those situations where it's been a war that's basically led Earth into an apocalypse. We meet Christoph Waltz. He is a doctor here on Earth, and in a junkyard he comes across this headless cyborg with its brain still intact. So he gives the cyborg a new body. She wakes up and she has absolutely no reminiscence of her past. So with that, Christoph Waltz names her Alita after his deceased daughter, and now it's about her trying to figure out her place in the world. On the way, she meets this guy Hugo, who she starts developing feelings for. He introduces her to the world, to the sport motorball, and also of his dreams of going into the upper city of Salem. It's basically this rich, highly technological city that floats above the earth. Is anyone else starting to think Elysium here? Yeah, I was too. But anyways, getting into what works in this movie, I'll start this off right now. Alita is a great character in this movie. Because, you know, when you first meet her, she's really sweet, she's innocent, she wants to know her place in the world, but she has no idea what that could be. The character of Hugo, I also thought was a really good character for this movie because you do buy the friendship that he initially develops with Alita, and you do also buy that there are feelings that they each develop towards one another. It's not like one of those scenarios where the romance just immediately happens and then it just develops as it goes along. You really do see real growth here. The guy actually gives you hope in the fact that he got out of the friend zone with Alita, except Alita actually liked him back, so I guess he technically wasn't even in the friend zone. Man, either way, I feel like some guy might watch it and be like, hey, you, that guy gave me hope. Christoph Waltz, I also thought was really good in this movie. I mean, Christoph Waltz is easily one of my favorite actors. Every role he's had in Quentin Tarantino, amazing. And he does good here. It's not going to be one of those roles that I'll maybe remember him for, but I do like seeing the role he takes on as becoming Alita's adopted father, you know, trying to help her out in the world, basically giving her the new body. But Alita also discovers one night that Christoph Waltz is a hunter warrior, which is basically this universe's version of a bounty hunter. Makes his rounds at night, finds bounty hunters that are wanted, kills them, sends them off for parts, and he makes money. One night he gets ambushed by 3 of them, and here is where we discover what Alita's abilities are. The cyborgs turn their attention to her, and very quickly and very easily she beats the shit out of pretty much all 3 of them. Kills 2 of them, another one retreats, but now as he's standing there like, alright, what the fuck are you? And it's also around this time when Alita has rediscovered her ability. She starts having more flashbacks to what her past life was, and we discover that she was in fact a warrior that was on Salem, and we start seeing a little bit more of the battles that took place as she was in. She was actually a very skilled warrior, and we get further evidence of this established when she goes into a bar one night. She tries to recruit more bounty hunters to help her because she's now registered herself as one, and of course they all laugh her off because that's what everyone does to the underdog in movies. But it's also around here we discover that the cyborg that escaped the initial conflict with Alita has returned. He has been upgraded by his boss Nova from Salem, and now he wants to kill Alita. It's right here she gets into another fight with this guy, and for the most part she's pretty much winning the fight very easily. It's not until one point the cyborg just uses this like giant retractable claw thing to basically cut her into pieces. But then it's even at this point Alita's not even dead. She then starts moving on the one arm she has left, like just one-handed push-ups, and Alita just takes out the cyborg's eye. He has to bitch out and run away again. I will say it's around this point I started to develop some flaws with this movie in the fact that as badass as Alita was, I felt she was too badass in this movie. I mean, literally in this moment she was reduced to her head, her torso, and one arm, and she still beat a cyborg with all these upgrades. In every movie where we have a hero who has to fight someone, you want to feel that vulnerability with that hero. You want to feel like, oh, they've run into someone who is their match, someone who could kill them, someone who could beat them. So that way, that when they throw down with these enemies, you feel like there's a chance that they could die, they could be defeated. At no point in this movie did I ever feel that with Alita. I felt she was a little bit too OP for this movie. Alita is essentially when you put God mode on in a video game, you're going around, you're killing everyone. It is fun for a while, but eventually you're sitting there like, you know what? I want a challenge now. I'm gonna get out of God mode. Here, we never ever got out of God mode, and it left me sitting there wanting more. And now it's even at this point, she becomes even more OP when after her body's been destroyed, Christoph Waltz then puts her into an upgraded body. Now she has the ability to regenerate, and I think also shoot fire. Maybe not really shoot fire, but generate fire out of her hands anyway. That's pretty awesome. But now at this point, Alita, she wants to find a way to send Hugo into Salem because she's completely in love with him now. So she's thinking, okay, I'll enter a motorball tournament. I'll collect the money to send him there. But unfortunately, this night in motorball, Mahershala Ali has rigged the game so that everyone who is in there who's competing tonight is a bounty hunter, and he set them all to go after Alita and kill her. But And do any of them kill her? No, they don't even threaten her. She destroys all of them. We do get this one tension-filled moment, though, as this is going on. We find out that Hugo has been confronted by Cyborg Francis from Deadpool. Well, he was Francis in Deadpool, but now he's a cyborg, so I call him Cyborg Francis. We found out that Hugo has actually been working for Mahershala Ali. Basically, he hunts down these cyborgs with his friends, and they strip them for parts, sell them to Mahershala Ali so we can make upgrades. Because Mahershala Ali has promised him, hey, you keep doing this enough for me, I will bring you to Salem myself. So, Alita shows up, but Cyborg Francis has had it set up that Hugo is out there killing all these cyborgs, so he's like, oh, guess what? That makes him a fugitive. That means I can kill him. In which case, he now puts her in the uncomfortable spot. It's like, or you know what? You're also a bounty hunter, so you can kill him. Either you're gonna do it, or I'm gonna do it. We can't let him get away. He's a fugitive. At one point, though, Cyborg Francis just goes tired of ways. He literally cuts Hugo in half. Now he's laying on the ground dying, which, pisses Alita off entirely, so she blows Cyborg Francis' face off. She then takes his really badass sword with her as, like, a trophy, which when she now gets a sword, she basically uses her fire ability to, like, put a fire energy through the blade itself, which now makes that sword OP. It's like, good lord, if they make a sequel, I hope something challenges her. But I will say this, as Hugo's lying there dying, he's telling Alita that he loves her. I will say, I was starting to feel it a little bit. I thought the emotional tone in this movie was really hitting home. But the problem is, as he's laying there, as he's just about to die, we find out that there is a way to save him, but it's really quickly, like, basically right as he is on the cusp of death, we find out, oh, hey, there's a way to save him. Bring him back to Christoph Waltz, and we'll put him in a cyborg body. We'll make him just like you. So yeah, Hugo's now repaired. He's a cyborg. He wants to still get to Salem, but it's also at this point, Alita knows she has to go find Mahershala Ali and defeat him because he's been doing Nova's bidding. I would say the final conflict in this movie is actually really enjoyable. Alita's finally got her memory back. She's able to basically remember exactly what she's gone through, what she's learned as a warrior. She finally destroys that cyborg that's been basically pestering her the whole movie. She finally confronts Mahershala Ali. She kills him. But at this point, she has to stop Hugo from trying to get into Salem because she knows if he tries to get there, he's going to get killed because it turns out the only way you can enter Salem is to be a motorball champion. Hugo's going up this pathway that's going to lead to Salem, but Nova sends this like giant spinning wheel after him, which basically cuts him in half, sends him almost falling off the cliff, but Alita catches him. And you're thinking maybe she's going to be able to hoist him up, but you see his arms start to break, and it's at this point he's probably gonna fall and die. They say, I love you to each other one more time, and exactly that happens. Which I gotta say right now, I'm really not a fan of the way they basically handle Hugo's character towards the end. It's like he dies, but then he's brought back to life as a cyborg, only to die again. I don't like that. It's like I can't help but feel that Robert Rodriguez, when he was directing this movie, was kind of thinking, you know what? I think I went a little too quick with Hugo coming back to life when I first killed him off. You know what, I'm just going to permanently kill him off this time, and then people will feel it. I'm starting to think that is what happened, but it still has me thinking, like, why didn't you just let him die in the first place? I mean, if you were just going to kill him to bring him back to life again, what's the point there? I mean, people will say, well, maybe it's to give Alita further motivation to go after Nova. I think she had enough of that already. But anyways, the movie flashes forward towards the end. It's 3 months later. Alita is in a motorball tournament. If she wins this one, she'll get to go to Salem and face Nova, who we discover is played by Edward Norton. Now I'm thinking we still got about 20 minutes of movie left. And I'm thinking, alright, we're going to see Alita kick ass in the motorball tournament, and it's going to end there. And we're going to know in the sequel, if we get a sequel, she's going to go to Salem and take on Nova. But no, we don't even get to see the tournament. The movie just ends very abruptly right there. Which had me like, oh. Well, I hope we at least get to see that in the sequel. So all in all, I will say, Alita Battle Angel was a good movie. I really loved Alita as a character. I thought Alita and Hugo, I bought their romance as it went along. Christoph Waltz was a great character in this movie. I loved seeing the father figure role that he developed with Alita. I do love seeing this version of the Earth, how futuristic it is, how basically shitty it is right now, but there is that Salem world that we don't really know too much about yet, but I know we're going to explore more upon if this gets a sequel. Mahershala Ali, I thought was a very solid villain. Visually, this movie looks great. The movie has some very enjoyable, very well shot action scenes. I really love the design for a lot of the cyborgs in this movie. That being said, my flaws are, as I mentioned, I don't like the way they handled Hugo's character. I don't like how badass they made Alita. I wish she was a little more vulnerable. That way these action scenes would be a little more intense. I do feel the movie did end a little bit abruptly. I mean, the way it ends, it's obviously setting up for a sequel, so I do hope we get a sequel because I do want to see more with this character. In the end, if this is a start of a franchise, I do think this was a solid start to it. But I do hope the sequel can only improve on what we have here. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe. I will see you all next time.